Hey, what is going on, y'all? Today I'm getting ready to do something I said I'd never do. Let's go! Like I said in the open, I'm getting ready to do something I said I'd never do. And I have really cut out that habit of never saying never, because so many things have turned around for good and for bad that I said I would never do or be a part of, but that's another lesson. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm gonna remove this chin mount and install it here on my Shoei helmet, my GT Air 2. So I specially ordered this from Amazon, and it is Nino Ride, and I'll link it in the description. So what I'm doing now is I'm converting from my initial shots that I'll show you here with some B-roll to actually on my helmet, showing that first person point of view like I talked about in this video linked here. This video that I'm linking to is my first experience with the DJI Action 4 and taking it out just after a couple days of opening. So I really want you to check it out. But let's go ahead and move on to this video with the chin mount. I'm gonna be installing this on my helmet versus having that behind me point of view that I showed you in the B-roll. I'm gonna have that first person point of view. And then when I get my 360 camera, the X4, I'll put that behind me so that way I have that point of view. And I'll put up some footage from my X3. I really like that angle, that back behind me on the right-hand side. I really like that angle for being able to show you what all is going on. But then also I'll be able to multicam and switch between the two. So I really think it's gonna up my vlogging game. But that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this opened up and we'll get it installed on the helmet. And I'll be taking it out on the road with me tomorrow after I install it, so that way you can see the upgrade and what I got installed on this thing. So just going through the items I have down here real quick. So this is the DJI Mic 2 that I use to connect to my Action 4 and to my Osmo that I'm taking the footage on here, my Osmo Pocket 3. I also have the DJI GPS. I really like this. I'm gonna do a separate review of the GPS once I use it a little bit more, because there's some things that I like and some things that I don't like about the GPS. But overall, it's a solid unit and I really recommend it right now anyway. And then I have some of the mount pieces for the chin mount that came with this kit. And so there was a website called Chin Mount. Unfortunately, they were a little bit more expensive, meaning I got this chin mount and the attachments for the same price of the chin mount itself. Now, I will say that it appears they're made in the USA and they're 3D printed and all that other kind of stuff, but I wanted to make sure that I had all the hardware with this experiment because, like I said, I'm kind of reluctant to do it, but to begin with, I want to make sure I have all the parts and pieces to be able to do it right. So that's my pitch for not only chin mount, but then this one right here that I got from Amazon. Let's go ahead and get unbagging this and get it installed. Oh. So this is a heavily plastic piece right here. I don't think I'm gonna be using this one at all. I'm gonna be using one of these mounts right here, but I'll figure all that out. All right, and then you have basically what amounts to a tether string. I'm probably not gonna use this if I'm being honest. You have adhesive, and then looks like you have a extra adhesive, and then the adhesive that actually comes on the mount itself. This is feels like aluminum, so that should go on really well. You can see the contours of the bracket, and that'll go right here on the bottom of the helmet. Right there, just like that. Move my finger so you can see it. And I'll get you a close-up of the bracket. Let's go ahead and get into the installation. So I'm out here in my shop today and I snagged my first aid kit for an alcohol wipe. Go ahead and clean all the oils and dirt and stuff like that off of the helmet before I stick the adhesive on there. And I want to make sure that I get it as square as possible because I don't want it off center or falling off or anything like that. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it down. I love this Shoei helmet, Shoei, however you say it. I have a rather large head. I wear a size 8 and fitted hat, and that's for comfort and style. I could probably get away with like a 7 7/8 or 7 3/4, but like a size 8. Anyway, the point is, The Shoei helmet is the only one that I have been able to comfortably fit. I tried Scorpions, I tried Bell, I tried a lot of different helmet styles. And the Shoei, even though it's a little bit more expensive, it's the only one that I could find that fits the right way for me. And so, when I got my 2021 Street Glide Special, I knew exactly I was going to a Shoei and I was gonna do some other things to the helmet. Like I added this Harley Davidson, I wanna say it's the Cena 30K, that goes with the wireless headset interface module, the WIM. I had that installed on my 2021 because I wanted to make sure that the CarPlay and everything on the motorcycle was seamless. So that's why I went ahead and bought the 30K, the HD. I didn't mind that it was branded and all that other kind of stuff. All my controls work as advertised coming from the Harley, so that really works out well for me. So as soon as this dries up, I'm gonna go ahead and stick on the mount. All right, so we're nice and dry now. And so when you have this 3M adhesive, you wanna take and score with your fingernails to basically activate it as the way I understand it. So I'm gonna score this with my fingernails to get it activated. Obviously take off the protective covering. And so like I said, I plan on taking footage with the camera and including it in this video so you can see how the Action 4 performs in comparison to above my head. If anybody has any tips on getting this off, I'd really appreciate it. I have nails, so that's not the problem. Maybe I'm just trying to be too delicate. All right, so we've got that off. Now I'm gonna go for the gusto and get it on the first install. Let me get my right hand, because I'm a right-handed person, so. All right, set it against the base, set it against the nose. Make sure it's centered up. All right, there we go. I guess I'm committed at this point. Uh-oh. I didn't install it in the right spot. There we go. I had to move it up a little higher. The last thing I need is my freaking Osmo falling off because I didn't mount it correctly. Yeah, that's a good solid mount there. All right, all set to go. All right, got it mounted up. You can see it right there. Mounted on the chin, and we're gonna take it out for a spin tomorrow. I do need to figure out what brackets I'm gonna use. And I'll get the camera out here in a little bit to see that. It's probably gonna be this bracket right here. But I'll take some footage after I get everything set up and this tape settles in. I'll get some footage of how I mounted this on the actual helmet itself. But I'm really gonna enjoy this vlogging setup. Like I said, again, this point of view, I've seen other people's videos, Psycho Fanatics, you name it. They have that chin mount, Marvel Kid 87, all those folks, they have that chin mount, and that just, it gives you a different picture. It gives that first person point of view that you cannot beat, that full in the seat experience as much as possible. So I'm hoping that all of my equipment and my style of editing and all that other kind of stuff will bring you the full experience, because that's what it's all about. Anyway, let me go ahead and get this set up and I'll come back to you here in a little bit. So I've got everything mounted up the way I intend to run it. You can see how it's mounted on my helmet. I can't wait to use it and give that first person point of view, like I said. And then also, I've got my DJI Mic 2 right in here that I use to connect to have my sound. I don't run a wired setup right now. I want to try to work with the DJI Mic 2 using the 32-bit float to control the volume, because obviously my mouth is right beside the mic itself. So I'll show you how I mount that up. So I go ahead and put my helmet on just like this. And then I slide the mic inside the helmet, inside a magnet that I have on the side right there. And this is how I run my setup. So, like I said, I'm really excited about this setup. I hope it works out really well. And let's go ahead and get on the bike and get some footage, first person style. Let's go to it. Hey, good morning, y'all. It is a beautiful morning. It is 80 degrees outside. First thing in the morning, it is now 6:15, but it is gonna be 97 degrees today. Lord have mercy. But anyway, listen, it's going to be a beautiful day regardless, headed to work, but I wanted to take some footage of my setup to show you how I'm set up right now. And so I'm going to be doing some checking of the audio, make sure that that's dialed in, because I've been too high and I haven't always had the 32-bit float on to make sure that the volume is controlled and it's not stupid loud. But I also want to check and make sure that this is projecting in the right way. In terms of up and down and this and that, because I'm really excited about this, adding this to the collection for vlogging and so on and so forth. I'm going to get you spun around here. I'm going to show you. Got the GPS installed as well to turn the recording on and off. Like I said, that's a great feature, and I'll do some more about that here in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and check with the DJI app to make sure that the camera is pointing in the right direction once I sit on the bike. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how I go through the process of doing that as well. So now you can see I'm using the DJI app to make sure that the camera is pointing in the right direction. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it up a little bit, adjust it up a little bit, so that way you're not looking straight down in the cockpit, if you will. Get more of the road. There we go. Let me check that out. And that's what I love about this DJI OSMO app. You see that adjustment right there? I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty darn good. Yep, let's go with that. All right. On the maiden voyage of testing the OSMO Action 4 mounted to my chin mount on my helmet, I will tell you it's not as bad as I made it out to be. I think I was more so worried about what it would look like, but when you're trying to establish yourself on YouTube as a motor vlogger, you've pretty much got to have, in my opinion, this angle is key, because you're trying to show people what it's like, what you're experiencing. And so me being able to mount this on my helmet for relatively, I think it was like $26 for the helmet mount itself, is clutch for my channel, I think. And so I'm making a run to the post office on this beautiful morning, and the test is going well so far. I'm gonna use this a little bit more today. I'm also gonna shoot in vertical mode. Because what I can do, and you can't see it right now, but what I can do is, because of the cage that's on the Osmo, I can take and turn the camera, and I'll do it right now. It may not, let me see if the screen is locked. The screen ratio is locked. Yeah, it is. So I can take and turn the camera vertically and then mount it back on the clamps of the DJI quick mount. And so if I want to go vertical, I can. And the biggest thing is I need to make sure that the clamps are locked in. Right now it's giving me a little bit of resistance, which isn't the end of the world, but it's giving me a little bit of resistance. But again, that's an option for me if I want to shoot short form, shorts, Instagram, whatever the case may be. So I'm really loving this setup, and I'm going to test a little bit more, take some B-roll, roll some music as I ride to work. Now it's a beautiful ride every day, about 35 minutes, but I'm going to take some B-roll and let you enjoy the footage. Let's go. Like I said, it's an absolutely beautiful morning. Great morning for riding. I do want to say, especially for you Rushmore, post 2014 bikes, take a look at my top 5 motorcycle accessories, not only for my bike, which is a 2021 that runs through the 2023s, but also accessories that you can put on the new 2024s. The Zero 3D frame mounted highway pegs, they are clutch. They'll be the best money you spend on your bike. So check out this video that talks about those top 5 accessories. You won't regret it. So that way you can convert your new 2024 over with some of the older accessories that are proven and tested. So make sure you check that video out. Let's go ahead and ride some more. Off in the distance, you should be able to see the, the cityscape or whatever it's called, of the Newport News shipyard, one of the biggest employers here in Newport News and probably in Virginia, period. Building Navy ships and submarines and stuff like that. It's great for industrial footage. I really like that industrial look. And you can check out my drone channel. And I did some footage over in that area. You can check out my drone channel, and I'll link to it right here and in the description below, of some coverage that I took of the in the shipyard general area. I really enjoy flying my drone. It's another thing that I add to my repertoire of things to take footage, and that's kind of like a side to this channel here. But I always want to, you know, when I add some drone footage to my videos, I want to make sure that I capture some footage for that channel as well. That's less personal, less of me in it. But here you can see coal distribution right here. Trying not to jerk my head around, still learning how to use this thing, right? So now we are approaching and going into the Monitor Merrimack Memorial Bridge Tunnel. And so this goes over the James River. And there's several ways for me to get to and from work. I choose this way in the morning. Unless I really need to relax before I go to work, I go another route that's a little bit more scenic, a little bit more turns. I wouldn't call them twisties at all, but a little bit more turns. But right here in the bridge tunnel, as you can imagine, when an accident happens, it is an absolute nightmare getting over this and getting stuck on the bike, getting overheated. You know, I make sure I carry water with me. As much as I hate to have water in a plastic bottle that's exposed to heat because of the polymers or whatever it is that can come off of the plastic, it's better to have water than not. But I will tell you that over the years, when I've stood off on the side when there's a traffic jam, instead of getting freaking clutch freeze hand, when I've stood off on the side of the road, people have been more than willing to hand water out. Hey, you need some water? Yes, please, thank you. I'll take some water. And so I'll pound the water to make sure that I stay hydrated, because it's just me. I'm out here sweating. And depending on what gear I'm wearing, it makes it worse. Because you don't want to undress. Somebody's letting that exhaust bark. You don't want to undress and then turn around and end up, you know, going back into traffic. So, but anyway, like I said, you know, we have a lot of, we have a lot of strife in the world right now. As many of you know, the recent incident that happened with the former president, that was unnecessary. Regardless of how you feel about the man,
that's ridiculous. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. This is not a political channel by any means. I just want to touch on that and say, let's be kind to each other, man. You know, keep each other in mind. That man's got a family and everything else in the world, despite anything that you may think about him. But we're out of monitor. That's enough about that subject. We're out of to monitor Merrimack Bridge Tunnel. Like I said, going over the James River, and it is a gorgeous sight that I get to see, and I need to appreciate when it comes out. There you can see the sun over there to the east. And so this is going to conclude my test of the camera on my way to work this morning. I'm going to do some more testing. Obviously, I'm going to review the video, but so far from this end, I am very happy with adding this camera to my helmet and to my vlogging setup. Like I said, I'm going to put the Insta360 X4. I'm going to mount that behind me on my tour pack like I used to do. And then that'll give the full perspective of what's going on while I'm riding. The complication is going to be, how do I manage all this? So I've got the DJI GPS right here. I also have the Insta360 GPS, which is probably going to go beside it. And it's going to look almost like a clown car, but that's what it takes in order to get footage. And then I'm also thinking about adding a mount right here, so the camera can point back at me when I want it to, but I also don't want it in the shot. So maybe I'll install it off over here or something like that. I'll figure all that out. But anyway, thank y'all for riding with me. Thank y'all for sticking to the end of the video. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. And remember to always ride as if your life depends on it. Peace.